to go through everything. He went through all the surgeries, being that close not to make it. And I remember seeing the accident and just not having any words. Well, Juan Manuel Correa is a driver that I knew a little bit, through the junior category. I remember Spa 2019. I was doing my press conference post qualifying, and I was watching the Formula 2 race like I always would do during my media point, and I remember seeing the accident and just not having any words. I knew that something big and bad had happened, really bad. I knew very well the person that was helping Juan Manuel to his career, so I asked some contact and kept in contact with Juan Manuel's dad through the early process, and kept asking about him and just checking on. And through that period, when Juan Manuel actually recovered, we became close friends, and with the family and with JM. So from we are 10 years apart, different, so definitely not in the same junior categories, but yeah, I just kept an eye on all the recovery and kept in touch with the family, and discovered some great friends, and some people that went through hell, much more than a lot of people actually think it was. I did, as I say, I did follow JM's recovery, as a lot of people did, but I was then, as I said, I became friends with the family. So when I came to Miami for my first time in the US for the IndyCar, I went to see I went actually to sleep into James' bedroom. He wasn't there, so in his house, and I remember seeing that oxygen tent, and I think that's what I say. I think a lot of people don't realize that how much recovery, how much effort were made for James to come back, and James is a warrior. We went cycling together recently, and for 2 hours he just didn't tell me that his feet and his knee was just killing him, and I wanted to beat him just for not telling me, because everybody just didn't want to give up. He was a competitor, he was up there, we were cycling, and there was no way he wasn't going to come back home. And all of that, having to go through everything he went through, all the surgeries, being that close not to make it in the early stage, when the first accident happens, okay, it's bad, but he's stable, and then it's gone worse, and then all the recovery process on the bones, and the fact that James is always gonna have a little bit of marks from that accident, but you would never see him complaining about it. He would he actually overdo it most of the time, which I make sure that he understands my point of view about overdoing it. But early in the year he broke his left foot just because he was because he was just doing too much, and I'm like, and he wanted to go back to racing the week with a broken foot. I said, no, you just can't, you're just gonna make it worse, and it's gonna be even longer. And I love that that we have to slow down people rather than try to push them. That, for me, that's a very inspirational character, and I think you can always, it's very not easy, but it's possible to slow someone down. It is a very hard challenge to motivate someone. We get on a call often, and every time he's in Miami, we try to go together to the gym and have some fun. I think JM, came back to Formula 3 the earliest he could. Had a bit of limitation year one. This year had a bit of the fatigue fracture on his foot, so that slows things down. But nonetheless, he's caught a podium back again this year, and you can tell he loves racing. He's just happy to do it. The hard part when you have a crash like that is that the recovery for James has been such a hard route, and has taken so much. But you've made all those efforts, and you're just going to the level that the guys naturally are. So from all those efforts, you actually need to put some more efforts to get on the top level of other guys. So I think that's what has been very hard, and I think that's what people don't quite realize, is that it's been quite a journey. It's been very challenging, but you know, I've been following, as I said, I've been following JM for quite some times, and I'm glad. I was so happy to see him on the podium. I think that everyone was happy to see him on the podium. Competitive in the junior categories, it's so high that it's tough to come back after a break. But I was also super happy to see him doing endurance racing, which I believe is also a great way of sharing with your teammates. And again, they did podium, and that was in Spa. So I think that's a pretty good way to say to life, hey, I'm here. I'm standing in a bottom right here where, you know, things could have ended up 300 meters away.